Every single day, millions of Americans stand in front of this glass case. We look at the clean labels, the rustic fonts, and the promises of oven-roasted, all-natural, and heart-healthy. But behind the high-end marketing lies a complex, multi-billion-dollar system of industrial chemistry, water-binding technology, and corporate consolidation. What you think you are buying is often completely different from what is actually sliding out of that plastic sleeve. This investigation isn't about simple calorie counting. It is an exploration of how the American food supply chain transformed real, whole meats into highly engineered, waterlogged commodities. Today, we are analyzing 10 massive U.S. deli meat brands you might want to reconsider. Based on ingredients, transparency, and manufacturing standards, but it isn't all bad news. Later, we will uncover 4 rare brands that are doing things right, brands that are actually real. Let's begin with a household giant that set the standard for modern mass production. Oscar Mayer started as a neighborhood butcher shop in Chicago back in 1883. For over a century, it built its empire on the promise of convenient, family-friendly protein, becoming a foundational part of the American lunchbox. Today, it is a dominant force in the pre-packaged meat aisle. Millions of parents buy it because it is affordable, universally available, and evokes a deep sense of childhood nostalgia. Consumers expect slices of whole turkey breasts, gently roasted and seasoned, just like Thanksgiving leftovers. The reality is that a closer look at the standard line reveals a highly processed formulation. The meat is often bound together using sodium phosphates to retain water weight. Modified cornstarch and carrageenan are frequently introduced as thickeners and stabilizers to maintain texture in lower-cost meat blends. When you pay for these heavily processed lines, a significant percentage of the weight you buy isn't meat. It is added water held in place by industrial phosphates. This reduces nutritional density per ounce and increases daily sodium intake without providing real food value. The heritage promised a traditional butcher's cut. The modern factory delivered a masterclass in moisture retention. But while Oscar Mayer operates in plain sight, our next brand relies on an entirely different economic strategy, selling ultra-thin slices to mask something else entirely. Founded in the mid-20th century, Buddig and Company carved out a unique niche by offering incredibly cheap, pre-sliced meats packaged in distinct small pouches. It is the ultimate budget choice. Families looking to stretch a dollar rely on it for quick, high-volume school lunches, where cost is the primary driver. Buyers expect simple, thinly sliced cuts of beef or ham, naturally lean and ready to eat. To achieve that incredibly low price point, the brand heavily utilizes mechanically separated poultry components and finely comminuted meat pastes in its value lines. The texture is uniform because the meat is ground, emulsified, and molded into shapes before being sliced ultra-thin. Emulsified meats require higher levels of sodium and preservatives like sodium nitrite to stay shelf-stable and retain their structure. You are consuming a highly altered protein matrix that lacks the natural cellular structure of whole meat. The price offered unmatched affordability. The process removed the texture of nature. If you think upgrading to a brand with a rustic, farmhouse aesthetic protects you from these industrial practices, you might want to look closer at the next one. Boar established itself as a massive value brand, focusing heavily on regional distribution centers to dominate the low-cost hot dog and lunch meat markets across the United States. Consumers see it as a reliable, no-frills option for large gatherings, backyard barbecues, and high-volume household consumption. They expect a traditional, solid cut of cured ham, naturally smoky and rich in protein. The reality is that Boar's products frequently rank among the highest in added water content, often explicitly labeled as a ham and water product. This means a substantial portion of the product is an injected brine solution, stabilized with corn syrup, dextrose, and sodium phosphates to keep the liquid from separating. Buying water-added products means you are paying meat prices for chemically trapped tap water. The inclusion of free sugars like dextrose adds unnecessary empty calories to what should be a pure protein source. The label suggested a hearty farmhouse staple. The recipe contained a flood of hidden moisture. This brings us to a brand that successfully migrated from the standard aisle to the premium deli counter, yet kept its industrial secrets intact. Starting in Ohio in the 1930s, Hillshire Farm built a reputation for high-quality smoked sausages and country-style meats, eventually expanding into the premium tub-package deli sector. It is widely positioned as a mid to high-tier premium choice. The reusable plastic tubs convey freshness, quality, and a step up from budget-tier options. Consumers expect clean, slow-roasted turkey breasts sliced thin, free from heavy industrial additives. Despite the premium presentation, many of their standard lines still rely heavily on conventional processing methods. They utilize sodium nitrites for preservation and color retention, alongside added starches and high sodium levels that rival budget brands. Premium packaging can create a psychological halo effect, leading consumers to believe they are buying a cleaner product, even when the chemical profile remains almost identical to cheaper alternatives. The tub promised a premium deli experience. The chemistry matched the standard shelf. But what happens when a value brand tries to enter the health-conscious market? The results can be incredibly misleading. Lando Frost is one of the largest family-owned deli meat companies in the nation, growing rapidly by focusing on high-volume, affordable family packs since the 1950s. It is viewed as a wholesome, family-first option that balances nutritional awareness with strict household budgets. The expectation is a lean, sweet, naturally cured slice of ham, perfect for a balanced, health-conscious diet. To achieve the sweet flavor profile, while maintaining a low cost, the brand frequently integrates significant amounts of honey blends, mixed with high-fructose corn syrup, or corn syrup solids. Alongside standard water-binding agents and texturizers, added sugars and high-fructose corn syrup have no place in pure savory proteins. They mask lower-grade meat flavors and inadvertently add simple carbohydrates to a food group consumers eat specifically for protein. The branding spoke of wholesome family health. The ingredient list hid unnecessary sugars. Our next brand dates back to the old American meatpacking empires, but its modern iteration is a shadow of its historic past. Armour & Company was once a titan of American industry, helping pioneer the meatpacking assembly line in the late 1800s and feeding millions of soldiers across multiple wars. It carries an aura of old-school American industrial reliability. A brand that has survived generations must be doing something right. Buyers expect a rugged, traditional, protein-dense deli meat crafted with time-tested curing methods. After decades of corporate acquisitions and restructuring, the brand now exists primarily as a value label focused on low-cost, highly extended meat products. Their deli lines frequently incorporate mechanically separated meats, heavy sodium loads, and artificial binders to hit rock-bottom price targets. The historic quality that built the empire has been systematically stripped away to satisfy modern low-cost retail algorithms, leaving consumers with a product defined by fillers rather than flesh. The name carried industrial glory. The product became a triumph of cost-cutting. As we approach the top three, the marketing strategies become much more sophisticated. Starting with a brand that uses geographical heritage to command a premium, originating in Smithfield, Virginia, in 1870. Gwaltney built its foundational reputation on traditional Southern salt-cured hams and authentic regional flavors. Consumers trust it as an authentic taste of traditional Southern meat crafting, expecting deep smokehouse traditions. They look for a deeply flavorful, traditionally spiced meat product rooted in old Virginia recipes. Modern Gwaltney value lines rely heavily on mechanically separated chicken and pork blends. The traditional curing methods have largely been replaced by rapid chemical injections containing high concentrations, sodium erythorbate and sodium nitrite, to artificially mimic the traditional curing process in hours rather than months. The rapid chemical acceleration of meat curing introduces vast amounts of sodium and synthetic curing accelerators into the body, completely bypassing the natural enzymatic breakdown of traditional aging. The heritage promised a slow-smoked tradition. The factory delivered a rapid chemical simulation. But the next brand on our list doesn't use history to sell itself. Instead, it uses the most powerful psychological tool in the modern supermarket, the illusion of health. Healthy Ones was developed specifically to capture the rapidly growing market of health-conscious consumers who wanted to eat deli meat without the associated cardiovascular guilt. It is widely perceived as a premium, doctor-proved, incredibly clean option designed specifically for heart health and weight management. The expectation is a pure, unaltered breast of turkey, minimally processed, low in salt, and free of artificial additives. While the fat content is indeed low, a deep dive into the ingredients reveals that the product still relies on sodium phosphates to retain moisture, along with standard synthetic preservatives. The health aspect is largely achieved by slicing the meat incredibly thin to lower the serving size calories and reducing fat, not by removing industrial processing steps. Stripping fat out of meat often requires manufacturers to compensate with extra water, texturizers, and sodium to maintain palatability, meaning healthy lines can sometimes be more chemically altered than their standard counterparts. The front panel whispered of medical purity. The back panel confirmed industrial reality. Now we enter the premium tier. The next brand is found behind the glass case of high-end grocery chains, costing premium dollars, but its transparency leaves much to be desired. Prima Della was created as an exclusive, upscale deli line for mass-market retailers to compete directly with premium independent deli brands. Consumers view this as a major upgrade. It is sliced fresh right in front of you, costs more, and features sophisticated, minimalist packaging that screams gourmet quality. Buyers expect locally sourced, premium-grade whole muscle cuts roasted to perfection, without industrial shortcuts, because Prima Della operates as a private label, tracking the exact supply chain, farm origins, and animal welfare standards is incredibly difficult. Independent ingredient reviews show that many of their premium lines still utilize sodium phosphate, hydrolyzed soy protein, and added flavorings to maintain that gourmet taste and moisture level. Paying a premium price at the service counter should guarantee a cleaner, more transparent product. When a brand hides behind corporate opacity while still using industrial texturizers, you are paying gourmet prices for commercial-grade science. The presentation mirrored a boutique butcher. The supply chain remained a corporate secret. This brings us to the final spot in our countdown. A brand that enjoyed unrivaled trust across America for decades, until a catastrophic systemic failure exposed exactly what was happening behind closed doors. Established in Brooklyn in 1905, Boar's Head became the undisputed gold standard of American deli counters. For generations, compromising on Boar's Head was unthinkable for premium sandwich shops and discerning families. It was the absolute pinnacle of trust, quality, and culinary safety. It was the brand people bought when they explicitly wanted to avoid cheap industrial meat processing. Consumers expected uncompromising artisanal standards, pristine facility cleanliness, and the safest, highest quality meat money could buy. The reality shattered completely when a massive, multi-state outbreak of Listeria monocytogenes was directly traced to a Boar's Head facility in Jarrett, Virginia. The outbreak resulted in dozens of hospitalizations and multiple tragic deaths. Subsequent release of federal inspection records revealed years of systemic noncompliance, including persistent mold growth, insect infestations, liquid dripping from pipes, and structural breakdown within the plant. The company was forced to permanently discontinue its entire liverwurst line and indefinitely close the Virginia facility. This represents the ultimate breakdown of consumer trust. If the nation's most expensive, respected, and trusted premium deli brand could allow its manufacturing environment to deteriorate to such a dangerous degree, it proves that brand prestige is no longer a guarantee of fundamental food safety. The gold emblem commanded total consumer faith. The hidden infrastructure harbored a fatal systemic breakdown. The reality of the modern deli counter can feel overwhelming, but true food craftsmanship still exists. If you know exactly what to look for, you can find brands that reject industrial shortcuts in favor of absolute transparency and clean biology. Here are the 4 real deli meat brands that are actually worth your trust. First is Applegate Organics. Applegate completely eliminates the standard industrial toolkit. They strictly prohibit the use of chemical nitrates, nitrites, or artificial phosphates. Instead, they rely on simple, real food curing agents like sea salt and celery powder. Every product is third-party certified organic, meaning the animals are raised on a 100% organic diet without GMOs or antibiotics. They are widely available in the natural foods aisle of major supermarkets nationwide, offering a highly accessible alternative to conventional lunch meats. Next is True Story Foods. This brand treats deli meat like real cooking. Their turkey and chicken breasts are made from whole muscle pieces, seasoned with organic spices, and slow roasted, without any added water-binding starches, gums, or chemical extenders. They maintain a fully traceable supply chain, partnering exclusively with independent family farms that practice humane animal husbandry. You can find them primarily in premium grocers, Whole Foods, and select organic food cooperatives across the country. Then we have Organic Valley. It's a cooperative owned entirely by independent family farmers. Their primary motive is quality rather than corporate cost-cutting. Their deli slices are exceptionally clean, containing only organic meat, water, sea salt, and natural seasonings. Because it is a cooperative, their milk and meat sourcing standards are among the most rigorously enforced and transparent in the entire agricultural industry. They are available in health-conscious supermarkets and natural grocery chains. Finally, there is Distell Turkey Ranch. Unlike mass-market brands that source from industrial mega-facilities, Distell grows their birds slowly, allowing them to develop natural density. Their deli cuts consist of pure whole muscle, turkey, without injected solutions or texturizers. They walk the walk when it comes to regenerative agriculture, operating with strict environmental sustainability metrics that are completely open to public audit. You can find them at high-end deli counters and specialty natural food stores, representing the absolute gold standard of authentic poultry. The modern grocery store is a psychological battlefield. Brands spend tens of millions of dollars designing packaging to trigger your trust, while their corporate parents spend millions optimizing recipes to strip out real meat and replace it with chemically bound water. When you walk up to the deli counter next time, remember 3 simple rules. First, flip the package over. Ignore the front labels like all natural and look at the back. Second, watch for the water trap. If you see sodium phosphate, carrageenan, or modified food starch, you are paying for engineered weight, not pure protein. Third, demand transparency. If a brand cannot clearly state where its meat was raised and how it was processed, it doesn't belong on your plate. Protect your health, protect your wallet, and look beyond the label. The food industry only changes when consumers refuse to buy the illusion.